Welcome to today's video on how eating raw garlic on an empty stomach can affect your health. Ever wondered how a single clove of garlic can be a game changer for your body? Yes, you heard right. We're talking about the humble garlic, but not just any garlic, we're talking about consuming it raw on an empty stomach. But why on an empty stomach? And what could be so amazing about it? Prepare yourself for an amazing journey. We're about to reveal 14 amazing properties of garlic that will greatly help your body, from boosting your immune system to weight loss. Trust us, and let's get started. We're also going to go over exactly how to consume garlic and who shouldn't consume it. Number 1 is immune system support. Incredible but true, starting your day by eating raw garlic on an empty stomach can give your immune system an extra boost. Why does this happen? Let's break it down. First, garlic contains the active compound allicin, known for its powerful immune-stimulating properties. Crushing raw garlic causes the release of a compound that begins to help our bodies. How exactly does it boost the immune system? Allicin promotes the activity of white blood cells, the body's natural defense system against infection, and it also improves the functioning of other immune cells such as macrophages and lymphocytes, helping the body fight off harmful pathogens. A study published in the Journal of Immunology Research confirmed the immune-stimulating role of allicin. It found a significant increase in the number of white blood cells in the subjects, boosting their immune response. You shouldn't replace prescribed medications with garlic, but consider it as an extra layer of defense for your immune system. So the next time you're at the grocery store, don't walk past garlic and remember that it can be your immune system's best friend. Point 2. Blood pressure control. Consider how raw garlic, especially on an empty stomach, can have a positive effect on blood pressure levels. Garlic contains high amounts of organic sulfur compounds and a particularly important organic compound called SLC13. In a study published in the Journal of Pharmaceutical Biology in 2020, scientists found that allicin helps lower systolic blood pressure. This is due to its vasodilatory action, causing blood vessels to dilate and lower blood pressure. Garlic also contains polysulfides, which, once in the red blood cells, are converted into hydrogen sulfide, a strong vasodilator gas that promotes vascular relaxation and the free flow of blood. A study in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2021 emphasized garlic's role in lowering blood pressure. It showed that garlic consumption reduced blood pressure in people with uncontrolled hypertension. It is important to note that garlic is not a substitute for professional medical advice or prescribed hypertension medications. Consider it as part of an overall approach to maintaining your health. Also, cholesterol-lowering research has shown that garlic can help lower bad cholesterol. So how does it do this? Garlic works thoroughly in our body thanks to the compounds L-cysteine and S-allyl present in garlic. These compounds prevent cholesterol from oxidizing, making it less dangerous. When cholesterol is oxidized, it can stick to the walls of the arteries, increasing the risk of heart disease. A study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry in 2016 showed a significant reduction in oxidized cholesterol levels in participants who took garlic for a month. This suggests that eating raw garlic, a natural source of cysteine, may have a similar effect on cholesterol levels. The fourth point is cancer prevention. Cancer, the dreaded enemy of mankind, finds a worthy opponent in garlic. Surprisingly, garlic has bioactive compounds and stimulates the production of the enzyme glutathione S-transferase, which naturally protects against cancer. Imagine eating garlic every morning. Studies have found that sulfur compounds activate the self-destruction of cancer cells, a process known as apoptosis. This not only disrupts the metabolism of tumor cells, preventing them from growing and spreading, but also supports your body in fighting off potential cancer cells. A 2016 study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that garlic suppresses the growth of breast cancer cells. Another study published in Cancer Prevention Research in 2019 suggests that L-cysteine may inhibit the formation of lung cancer cells. The science is complicated, but the conclusion is simple. Garlic has the potential to prevent but don't forget to get regular checkups and cancer screenings. Adding raw garlic to your morning ritual can be an additional defense. After all, prevention is better than cure. Point 5 is blood sugar control. You are probably wondering how garlic helps regulate blood sugar levels. Garlic increases insulin secretion and improves insulin sensitivity, which improves blood glucose control. A study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food in 2013 found that garlic helps your cells absorb glucose more efficiently. Not only does garlic lower blood glucose levels, but it also protects the liver, which plays an important role in processing sugar. A study published in the journal Phytomedicine in 2014 confirmed this fact. Garlic can effectively protect the pancreatic cells responsible for insulin from damage by maintaining their function. However, remember that garlic is not a panacea. Exercise, a balanced diet, and regular checkups are also necessary to control blood sugar levels. Point 6 is a bone health concern. Garlic, according to a 2012 Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry study, may help increase estrogen levels in women, potentially mitigating bone mass loss. In addition, garlic is rich in calcium, phosphorus, and vitamin B6, which are essential for strong and healthy bones. Vitamin B6 plays a key role in the metabolism of protein important for bone health, as confirmed by a 2018 study published in Archives of Biochemistry and Biophysics. It's impressive how a simple clove of garlic can contribute so much to the care of our bones. Not to forget the improved iron metabolism in people who consume garlic. Point 7 is iron metabolism. Garlic plays a big role in supporting iron metabolism. Interestingly, garlic helps boost the production of a protein called ferritin, acting as a kind of iron storage in the body. More ferritin ensures more efficient storage and release of iron when you need it. But don't forget about balance, because too much iron can also be undesirable. That's why it's important to consume garlic in reasonable amounts as part of a balanced diet. Although garlic is small, it is a true superfood in supporting health. Point 8 is detoxification. Consuming garlic raw on an empty stomach allows you to take advantage of its active compounds to detoxify your body. A 2019 study published in Food and Chemical Toxicology found that these sulfur-containing compounds help the body get rid of toxins by stimulating the production of glutathione, a powerful antioxidant naturally produced by the body. Glutathione plays a key role in trapping and eliminating toxins. An interesting fact from a 2018 study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry confirms that aged garlic extract, rich in sulfur compounds, can improve detoxification by regulating phase 2 detoxification enzymes. When adding garlic to a dish, remember that it is not only a flavoring agent but also a great helper to your health. The 9th point is digestive health. Garlic supports biological activity and helps maintain digestive health. According to a 2019 study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food, garlic compounds stimulate gastric juice production, aiding the digestive process. Garlic also has an effect on the gut microbiome, a society of beneficial bacteria living in the digestive tract. A study published in the Journal of Functional Foods in 2020 found that garlic can help increase beneficial bacteria by acting as a natural probiotic. A study published in the Journal of Functional Foods in 2020 found that garlic can help increase beneficial bacteria by acting as a natural probiotic. This process not only improves food breakdown and nutrient absorption, but may also play a role in preventing intestinal inflammation. Consuming raw garlic not only stimulates the digestive system, but also promotes a healthier environment in the gut. The 10th point is anti-inflammatory properties. Garlic is rich in organic compounds that help reduce inflammation by inhibiting the activity of certain inflammatory enzymes in the body and preventing excessive inflammation that can lead to health problems such as arthritis or heart disease. The 11th point is testosterone boosting. When you consume garlic on an empty stomach, it ensures optimal absorption of its active compounds, resulting in maximum benefits for your body. According to a 2011 study in the journal Nutritional Biochemistry, garlic increases testosterone levels by inhibiting a protein that converts testosterone into estrogen. This means more testosterone remains free in the body. A 2018 study in the journal Andrology found that garlic may protect the testicles from oxidative damage, helping to boost testosterone levels. Garlic's effect on testosterone also extends to cortisol, a hormone that, if its levels are high, can interfere with testosterone production. A 2011 study in the Journal of Phytomedicine found that compounds in garlic help regulate cortisol levels. So the next time you think about your testosterone levels, remember that garlic may be your secret weapon. The 12th point is very important for men: erectile dysfunction. Garlic can play a big role in improving blood flow. When you have good blood flow, It is easier for your body to direct blood where it needs to go. Garlic helps blood vessels relax and improves blood flow, especially in the lower regions. It also increases the production of nitric oxide, which causes your blood vessels to relax and dilate. This allows more blood to rush to the penis, helping you achieve and maintain an erection. The 13th point is to improve sperm health. Let's introduce you to allicin and selenium. Allicin is a sulfur compound that is released when you crush raw garlic. In a 2016 study published in Bioscience Reports, scientists found that allicin can protect sperm cells from damage, which is awesome news for sperm health. On the other hand, selenium is a trace element found in garlic that has been found to be essential for the production of healthy sperm. A study published in the Journal of Urology in 2018 reported that selenium has a positive effect on sperm motility, which basically means the ability of sperm to swim effectively, a crucial aspect of fertility. A study published in the International Journal of Reproductive Biomedicine in 2017 found that these antioxidants can fight oxidative stress, an imbalance that can potentially damage sperm. Point 14 is the potential longevity of man. It lies in its rich array of biologically active compounds in garlic. First of all, there is allicin. This compound formed when garlic is crushed is known for its powerful antioxidant properties. It neutralizes harmful free radicals, those pesky molecules that cause aging and disease. In a 2018 study published in Molecular Nutrition and Food Research, garlic showed promising effects in promoting longevity by activating a specific cellular stress response pathway. Garlic slows aging by enhancing mitochondrial function in cells. Think of your mitochondria as tiny power plants that keep your body energized. Starting your day with raw garlic can be a unique dietary practice, but it's important to consume it in moderation and in the right way. Here is a simple guide to help you incorporate raw garlic into your daily routine. Take a clove of fresh garlic. Make sure it is clean and free of dark spots or mold. Crush or mince the garlic and leave it for a few minutes. This allows it to form allicin, a beneficial compound that is released when the garlic is crushed or minced. You can consume it pure or if the flavor seems too strong for you. Mix the crushed garlic with a tablespoon of honey or add it to a glass of water. As for the quantity, the recommended amount is 1 to 2 cloves per day, but it is better to start with a small dose, half to 1 clove, and see how your body reacts before increasing your intake. Now the side effects of raw garlic on an empty stomach, namely, digestive problems. Raw garlic can be harmful to the digestive system and can cause stomach upset, heartburn, or flatulence. Bad breath and body odor. Garlic is well known for causing bad breath. Although rare, some people may have an allergic reaction to garlic. Symptoms may include a rash, itching, or difficulty breathing. Bleeding. Garlic has properties that inhibit blood clotting. This may increase the risk of bleeding, especially in people taking blood-thinning medications or those preparing for surgery. Low blood pressure. If you're already taking medication for high blood pressure, adding lots of garlic to your diet could potentially lower your blood pressure. Too much interference with medications. Garlic can interfere with some medications, including HIV or AIDS medications. Always consult your doctor before starting raw garlic, especially if you already have health problems or are taking medication. That's it, dear subscribers. We've lifted the veil of mystery over the humble clove of garlic and discovered its powerful hidden secrets from immune system support to potential life extension. It's pretty clear that garlic has a lot of power, so are you ready to energize your morning with raw garlic? Remember, the key to success is moderation and listening to your body. And always consult your doctor if you are unsure. Write us under this video. What do you think about it? If you liked this movie, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and put a bell to not miss new movies. Good luck and good health.